Hello again, welcome to another edition of Music Matters. How you doing? I'm MonkeyBoy.
And I'm Ziggy.
And we are back this week with a very interesting topic.
So, this is the Music Matters podcast, and all we're ever going to talk about is music.
Right.
And the topics are endless.
Oh, so many
because
topics.
When we planned to do this podcast, we wanted to talk about things that are also behind the scenes.
Yes.
You know, there is more to music than bringing up your streaming site or turning it on the radio. There's so much to every song you hear. There's stuff behind the music. So we're going to take this episode and the next episode and, dare I say, get a little bit more intellectual.
As intellectual as two radio DJs who are stoned out of their minds half the time can be.
Well, you know, I think it's important to get deep from time to time.
I do too. I agree.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about an entity formerly known as Soundscan today.
Aren't they still called Soundscan?
I believe they have a new name.
Do they?
We're going to learn.
Oh,
we're
learning.
We're going to be learning them together.
Yeah. And what role that played in the way that we get music and the way that radio stations pick music and just the way certain songs have become hits because of that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Soundscan and kind of in the area of music manipulation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in our next episode, we're going to talk about a corporation known as iHeartMedia and music manipulation there as well.
Yeah.
Things aren't always as they seem, and so Andy had a great idea to talk about Soundscan. It's a very interesting entity.
Yeah.
And it'll explain a lot about maybe why from time to time you're just driving around and you're like, I am so sick of hearing this song. Why do they keep playing this song every 15 minutes? You know, you're looking around your car for a sledgehammer to take your own head off. And so this is an episode that will help explain that a little bit.
And more so the next episode probably with the why you're hearing this song so many times in so many minutes. But yes, we'll definitely be getting to that.
This is the tracking entity for all of music in the United States. So,
this is how they figure out what's selling. So,
but we haven't talked about the charts for a while.
It's been a while.
We haven't talked about music news, but we have to cover the news today.
For sure.
Because just yesterday we lost one of our favorite singers.
For sure.
From one of our favorite bands, Brad Arnold of Three Doors Down. For those that maybe don't know the name, you know the song's Kryptonite.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Here Without You.
Here Without You.
The Road I'm On. I mean, they had so many. Duck and Run. And those are just off the top of my head.
A list of top 10 hits.
Yeah.
Top 5 hits. And Brad got the cancer, and he passed relatively quickly. I think he announced...
It was a year. I think a little over a year.
A little over a year. So, and he was a very faithful spiritual man and leaned on that till the end. And I hope it brought him some peace.
I do too.
But he's gone. I do hope, again, I don't always like the situation where the singer goes and what does the band do?
They replace him right away.
But
yeah, I don't think they're going to do that for a while anyway.
Brad Arnold wrote some great songs. Those are great songs. I hope that in the future they just go out and play the songs.
Yeah, and celebrate him. Yeah.
That's really what it becomes about. You know, Pantera isn't Pantera, but you're out there, you're able to hear those songs.
And celebrate that legacy.
Linkin Park, Linkin Park has had a pretty good year last year.
Yep.
It's not what it was, but you're out and you're hearing those songs.
And sometimes it can make it, so you're bigger than you were when you had the original singer. Take, for example, AC/DC. Bon Scott died, and they brought in Brian Johnson, and boom.
But, you've seen Alice in Chains have success with that.
Absolutely. Alice in Chains is another great example.
Yeah.
So
but
there are good
sometimes
ones.
it's hard for these bands to continue. Some
For sure.
of them just don't, and whatever
So
they
totally
decide
understandable
to do is,
reasons too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the voice of the band is a pretty
and
hard thing to replace.
Well, and when you've grown up with the person as a friend and consider them a family member, it's hard to get back out on the road, and
for sure.
And it would be really weird, even after a period of time, to be up on a stage and you're playing a song you played with one guy for the last 35 years, and here's this other guy singing it.
Yeah,
and it's not as easy.
No, for sure not. No. I know I had a chance to meet Brad a couple times over the years. I first saw them at what was it? It was a festival down in Omaha, and they were opening up with Papa Roach was there, and Godsmack was there, and they would after their set come up to the table and sign autographs and whatnot and get to talk to him. And Brad was a really nice guy, and you hear that from a lot of different people, so it's probably true. The guy
he was very well connected within that rock and hard rock scene, friendly with all the bands of the time, Shinedown and Seether and all that, and they all came out and had great things to say.
I also heard that if you want a example of how to treat your tour mates and bandmates that are under you opening up for your band, you look to Brad Arnold.
Yeah, there was a number of bands that said, hey, we were out with them, and he really showed us how you treat the fans, the other bands, how you treat the crew, just the same as
anybody.
You would family.
And so that's it's really nice to hear, because there's people can get egos, especially headliners, and
we're going to do an episode. I thought up an episode the other day of artists that have killed their bands or their careers.
Yeah, because of their attitudes or whatnot.
Because of their attitudes or their egos or, thinking they're prima donnas. I think we can fill up an episode on that.
Easy. Yeah.
Because there are some very big jerks, male and female, in the music industry.
Yeah, so. For sure.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles have been touring and
quite a few years now.
They've played Vegas, and 2026 could be it. Don Henley came out and said, he would just like to go home, and
can't say I blame them. They're getting up in age.
Wants to work in the garden, and
I'm sure being at that age, and they're not knowing you're limited on how much time you got left. If you want to try to do something different or just relax and kind of enjoy the fruits of your labor, it's getting to be about that time for the Eagles. Of course, if they want to continue doing things, I think the way they're doing them now, where they're doing residencies in Vegas or something like that, is a much better plan for them. They don't have to tour, they can all have them fans come to them instead of them coming to the fans. But if it is done for the Eagles, I think great. They had an amazing, amazing career. So many great hits. I can't say enough good things. I had one of my favorite concert experiences was at an Eagles show. Real quick, we were with our GM at the time from iHeartRadio, Rick Shorg. And it was Chris and Scott and me, and I think that was it. Anyway, we were down there and we were getting beer. We had terrible seats, cheap seats way up in the balcony. And we were getting our beer, and we were down kind of on a lower level to get the beer. And then, as we were waiting on Chris, as we always had to, we had somebody come up to us and they said, where are your seats? Thinking that they were just going to tell us to go back to our seats because we were standing kind of in the aisle. And they're like, we're up here, we're just waiting for our friend and then we'll go. And she's like, no, would you like better seats? Sure. They gave us 17th row, or maybe even closer. It was 7th row, maybe. Very close to the stage on the side. It was amazing. And the best part of all, Rick Shorg, our GM, didn't come down with us. He got stuck up in the cheap seats while the DJs got to go down and enjoy the show from really amazing seats. So
yeah,
that was good. I
Let's
enjoyed
see,
that.
what else do we got? Def Leppard's playing Vegas.
Yeah, and they just released a new song.
Which they don't need to release new songs anymore.
They don't need to, but
just go play the hits.
Yeah.
Our friend Dave Lyman was in Vegas to see them.
Oh, did he? Did he go see him?
I believe he's a big guy. Organizes dart and pool tournaments.
Yeah.
He schedules. Does a really good job. And I believe he was down at a tournament, maybe on vacation. It's hard to keep track of him.
Right.
But yeah, he went to see Def Leppard.
Nice.
And they sound great.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, they still sound... I watched a little bit of their the videos that they had on YouTube from this residency that they have in Vegas, and yeah, they played White Lightning, which they haven't played in like 30 years.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I always liked that song. It's kind of different.
So, it's... there's a little bit of music news.
All right. Sounds good.
We haven't talked about the charts in a while.
It's been a while, so let's hit the active rock charts at number 10. Mammoth is still in the top 10, but they are on their way down with The Spell. Number 9 is 3 Days Grace with Kill Me Fast. Number 8, Guns N' Roses with Nothing. Number 7 is Shinedown with Searchlight. Number 6 is Chevelle with Pale Horse. Number 5, Daughtry in The Bottom. Number 4 is Limp Bizkit's Making Love to Morgan Wallen. Number 3 is Poppy, Amy Lee, and Courtney LaPlante with End of You. Bad Omens come in at number 2 with Dying to Love. And the number 1 song this week is from a relatively new band, Return to Dust, and the song is called Bored.
It's called what?
Bored.
Oh, the song is called Bored.
Bored.
Okay, now let me tell you my opinion on this band.
Were you bored?
I find them to be boring. I find them to be basic. I find them to be cookie cutter. I don't get how the song is number 1, but hey, again, everyone's got an opinion.
Everybody's got their...
The dad rock stuff doesn't do much for me anymore. Over on the country chart, Billboard, we're just going to do the top 5.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm the Problem, Morgan Wallen, at number 5. The Great Luke Combs at number 4, Sleepless in a Hotel Room. That's horrible. Morgan Wallen, 20 Cigarettes at number 3. Morgan Wallen, I Got Better at number 2. But she's on fire. Miss Ella Langley is at number 1. Been at number 1 for weeks now with Choosing Texas. You know Ella?
I know the name.
You know the name?
Yeah.
You've not listened to Ella Langley before?
I'm sure I've heard a song, like if you shared one to me, I've heard it, but I'm not.
Oh, well, she is so hot, music-wise and otherwise, that she actually appears in the Billboard 200 chart.
Oh, wow. All right.
And she's within the top 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So you might. It's country music, man. It's okay. It's not going to kill you to listen to a song.
I agree. It won't kill me. Number 10 on the. I got the top 40 here.
Okay.
David Guetta. What's his name? Teddy Swims and Tones and I with Gone, Gone, Gone. I do not know that song. Number 9, Ray with Where Is My Husband?
Oh, you have to listen to that song. That song's a jam.
I'll bet it is. I just think that's funny. This the name of the song is Where Is My Husband? All right. So is she looking for a husband, or is she wondering where her husband's at?
Andy, listen to the song.
All right. Number 8, Justin Bieber in Yukon. Weird Grammy performance from him. One of many weird Grammy performances.
I thought it was a wonderful Grammy performance.
You enjoyed the underwear?
It was intended to get you to focus on the song.
Oh. I guess I focused on the underwear.
Well, and I focused on Chaperone songs, too, despite what she was wearing.
Yeah. Chaperone was good, too. Tate McRae at number 7 with Tit for Tat. Number 6 is Bruno Mars and I Just Might. I love that song. That's a jam right there. Number 5, Taylor Swift, The Fate of Ophelia. Number 4 is Hunter X, EJ, and Audrey Nuna.
Yep.
Golden.
Yes.
That's the
big Grammy
K-pop
winner.
one,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Taylor Swift with Opalite. Opalite? Did I say that?
Haven't
right?
listened to the song, huh, Andy?
Nope, not at all. Number 2, Olivia Dean, Man I Need. And number 1, I do know this one, Somber with Back to Friends. I really dig that Somber band. They're pretty good.
So, every night, I picture you in the freezer at work, just listening to music. Now, we're not going to say where you work or anything, but it involves a freezer. And I know that on any night you can bring up your music platform and you can look up Ray, you can look up Taylor Swift,
Yeah, I could.
you can look up Ella Langley.
I could.
And you would know how to say the Taylor Swift song, and
It's true.
you'd know about whether she's looking for a husband and what a jam it is.
It's true.
So I just want to encourage you to maybe try a little harder in the freezer.
All right. I'll work a little bit better at that.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. I just check out what I like,
well, that's a nice nice to look at the charts again.
Yeah.
Not much changes.
No, it was pretty much
Did you
the same.
discuss Ella Langley?
No, she wasn't on the top 40 anyway.
Oh.
Let me see the Billboard.
Maybe that's
200.
yeah.
Let's see here. She is at number 3. Olivia Dean, is that who it is? Or?
No, you're looking for Ella Langley.
Ella Langley.
It might be a different chart. It's all right.
I think it is, yeah, because all they got. I think this is the albums chart. Pretty sure, because Megadeth is number 1. Which is interesting. Great album from them.
Who?
Megadeth.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, they won the Grammy, so when it's all over for Megadeth.
I really do like that album. It's a
This
solid
year.
it's a solid album. I would say it's up there with Euthanasia and Symphony of Destruction, but not as good.
I just don't think it's really over. So.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, let's talk about Luminate Soundscan,
Okay.
formerly Nielsen Soundscan. The premier industry standard system for tracking music sales, as we know, streams, and physical consumption in the U.S. and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they handled Canada.
Yep.
They are the data source for what we just worked from.
Yep.
The Billboard charts. It logs UPC, EAN, and ISRC codes from thousands of retailers to measure music popularity and verify chart performance.
Yep. That is what Soundscan does. When Soundscan launched in 1991, a lot of people think it killed rock and roll. It actually did not. It revealed rock. For the first time, the charts were based on actual barcode scanned sales, not handwritten guesses from record stores. And the result was explosive. Metallica debuted at number 1 with the Black Album. Remember that? It was huge. In fact, it's still selling ridiculous amounts of albums.
Yes.
Nirvana and Pearl Jam surged. Country and hip-hop suddenly looked massive compared to what they were before. The pop thing was more of it's not rock, but it had a rock tinge to it, It was...
So this is really, they developed a barcode.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
and it tracked everything, and it reported it to the media, and the media went with that. Now, if you ask John Mellencamp, and it was on Joe Rogan, he says that basically killed the music industry, or the rock industry, because of kind of the way that the radio stations report their music. And apparently he thinks that if a spin in New York, you get a spin there, but a spin in Indiana only counts of about like a fifth of that, whereas the one in New York is a full spin. So it takes 5 times as much from Indiana to equal a spin in New York.
For non-radio people.
Yeah. We're getting deep here.
Play.
That's
a play of the
when you
song,
hear it on the
we
radio.
call it a spin.
Yeah, and that's what a spin is. So, yeah, he was talking to the guy in Billboard back when they decided to buy this, and the guy said it was going to kill his career because of the way that it, tracks and reports music. Now, I think he was wrong in a couple of ways that I think Soundscan is the right thing, but I think the manipulation came in on the corporate radio side of things and not so much the Soundscan. But he recognized it as Soundscan, that was what.
Well, this was what now? We're talking early 90s.
Yep, early 90s.
This would have been, I'm just getting in radio then in the early 90s, and I'm hearing a lot about, not as much as there had been, but pay for play.
Yeah, well, that all ended very.
I remember signing some paperwork at this time about that I would not accept gifts. It was a big corporate thing. I think.
Oh yeah.
It had come down. It had worked through Congress or its subcommittees. Now, in radio in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s,
even in the 80s.
Even in the 80s, DJs are getting bribed to
big time
play this song. I mean, they're getting trips, they're getting cars. And so that's where the manipulation came in, is from the record company. Well, hey, we're gonna give you 10 tickets so you can take your staff at the radio station. But hey, we just want you to play this song 5 more times than you did last week.
Right. Yep. That's how they did it.
And it happened.
It happened quite a bit. Yeah. Well, once Soundscan proved, that rock was big and everything else, that triggered a chain reaction. Labels panicked, and then they pivoted. They signed every rock band with a pulse, the market flooded, and when the bubble burst, the industry overcorrected hard. And that's when you saw things like, pretty much all the rock radio plays went bye-bye, and you saw the emergence of rap, hip-hop, country, and pop really dominate. Because in the 80s, 70s,
really,
and 80s, it was all rock that was.
Yeah, because I can remember
top.
In the latter 90s, early 2000s, we had the grunge stuff, the really alternative stuff. Again, they were signing every band that had a pulse.
Yeah,
and there was just this quick shift. Not like that hairband Nirvana shift. It was maybe a little bit more subtle. But you look, R&B and hip-hop was huge in the latter 90s, early 2000s.
Massive. Yeah, and that was the reason. Soundscan proved that they were selling, because the major markets that's where they were all buying it, and it took a while. And back in the day before Soundscan, it took a while for those artists in the rural or in the metro to make it to the rural places, because you just didn't have a lot of radio stations playing that stuff in the Midwest. A lot of them.
Well, excuse me. I think that what non-radio people may not realize is that if you and I get in the car and we drive to my home state of Montana,
mm-hmm.
we're going to hear different music. We're going to hear a lot of the same music, but we're also going to hear different music in Montana. Whereas if we get in the car and we drive to New York, we're going to be exposed to a
huge
plethora of sounds there. When you're in the more rural stuff, it takes music forever to get to you. A good indicator of that is the 80s hair bands, okay?
Yep.
That are not really popular right now. They go over to where? They go over to China and
Japan.
Europe, Japan, and they're still packing stadiums there.
Huge.
But it took those countries years and years to get exposed to that music, for that music to get to them.
Yeah. And they still appreciate it too, which is something completely different than here.
Yeah.
Like if you have an appreciation for that kind of music here, you kind of get made fun of sometimes.
Yeah, but I remember coming from Montana to here and being exposed to some stuff I hadn't heard before.
Yeah. And that was in it was early 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably before the Soundscan thing. So yeah, you would hear different stuff in the Midwest than you would hear in the bigger cities.
Yeah.
And those plays that were played in the Midwest got the same amount of, reports as the ones in the big cities. But once they decided, well, the bigger cities have a bigger population, so they should count for more than what someone in Indiana, let's say. Let's give that, a half or a quarter spin, compared to one in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that happened. And then, boom, all these bands and artists that you never heard of before started becoming, brand names. And rock pretty much went bye-bye. And mostly that was a course correction by labels.
Mm-hmm.
They decided, the money is where this is what people are buying in the big cities, so we're going to focus on that. And whatever else, if they're not buying rock, we're not going to put any money into rock. So that's what happened.
Right.
If Soundscan shook the industry, the 1996 Telecommunication Act finished the job. Before 96, radio was regional, like we were saying. DJs had personalities, local scenes mattered, rock thrived because it was messy, unpredictable, and different from city to city. After 96, handful of corporations bought hundreds of stations, and we'll be talking about one of those corporations in the next episode. Playlists became standardized.
We'll be talking about that in
the episode. Yeah. Research departments replaced DJs.
We'll be talking about that in the next episode.
Yeah, all this stuff is basically what we're going to be talking about in the next episode. Safe, predictable formats took over. Rock, especially new rock, got squeezed out. Corporate radio didn't hate rock, it hated risk. And risk was what that was, because nobody wanted to take a chance on a unknown band. They wanted to play the hits.
I will say, again, so much of this is going to go into the next episode too, but they really are paired and working together because if we just want to look at rock, now we're not biased, okay? We're not like rock, hard rock, metal
Right.
is the next big thing. But you and I are realistic. And we know in listening to rock radio, not just in our local community, but in our state. And I think to a degree in other places in the U.S. There is something happening in rock.
For sure.
Okay. You know, the metalcore thing that we talk about, the bands like I Prevail, Sleep Token, Bad Omens, Wage War,
Dayseeker,
you know, these are
Funeral
metalcore
Portrait.
bands.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's kind of a scary term. But they are harder edged. The music is in drop D. There might be some screaming. There's the poppy Courtney LaPlante, Amy Lee song that's climbing the rock charts.
It's big right
and
now.
Courtney screams in that.
Big time. Yeah.
And so I think rock radio right now is working through that word risk.
Yes, I agree.
Because
people are starting to take that risk.
People are starting to take that risk. Now, let's think about it. If your classic rock or rock station is on at work, you may not want that song to come up at work. So I get that.
Yeah.
But, you know, choose where you're going to listen to it.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be all consuming.
No.
But I think that there is a certain radio corporation and some others that are like, oh, I don't know if we want to wade into that because it is taking off.
Yeah, it is very much so.
Sleep Token has kicked the door open.
Yep.
And some other bands, you know, I mean, Sleep Theory is more of a hard rock band, but they've also opened the door too.
Yep.
And it becomes about risk.
It does. So rock fans are loyal, but unpredictable. They don't always like the same songs in the same order every day. Pop and rhythmic formats, on the other hand, test extremely well with the broadest audiences. So rock got pushed to the margins, not because it wasn't selling, Soundscan proved it was, but because it didn't fit in the new corporate model. That's another thing we're going to be talking about. Corporate model.
Yeah.
And that's the part of the story that John Mellencamp missed when you're talking about that little episode he did with Joe Rogan. By the time streaming arrived, rock was already weakened on radio, and streaming accelerated the shift. Pop and hip-hop dominated the playlists. Algorithms favored high-frequency, repeat-friendly songs. So, of course, they're going to go with those. Rock's album-oriented structure didn't fit the single-driven streaming economy, and younger listeners gravitated towards genres with stronger social media presence, which is crazy to think about. It's not even like radio anymore that's being the driver of music. It's social media and TikTok and things of that nature.
I think, you know, if you think back to being younger, you know, it's talking about stronger social media presence. Well, we didn't have social media.
No.
But you kind of picked your group.
Yeah, you did.
You picked your group. You know, when you got into junior high or high school, well, I wanted to hang out with the rocker dudes.
Yeah.
You know, my buddy wearing the Iron Maiden shirt, my other buddy wearing the Van Halen shirt, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, with social media,
it's just a little
now,
bit different. It's just
you know,
in person instead of online.
But
Yeah.
you know, you get with your clique and
Yep, and
roll with it.
That's the way it is. So streaming didn't kill rock. It simply rewarded the genres that were already winning the cultural conversation. Rock became niche, loyal, passionate, still alive, but no longer the center of the musical universe. Now, when you zoom out, the story isn't a conspiracy, it's more of a timeline type of thing. Soundscan exposed rock's true power, labels overreacted, and corporate radio didn't help anything at all by standardizing playlists and sidelined rock. Streaming and pop culture finished the shift towards new dominant genres. Rock didn't fall, it was pushed, reshaped, and eventually outpaced by a changing industry. And that's why independent stations like MonkeyBoy Radio are the ones that still take the risks, still play the new rock, and still care about discovery, and they matter more than ever.
Well, this is a great hopping off point for the episode, really,
right.
Is that, you see how easily with Soundscan music could have been manipulated.
Very much.
How it changed things is, if you're standing at the record store and you're just guessing at how many copies of that 45 you sold or that cassette, that was not accurate information.
No.
But, this is the record labels, really created the problem. Record labels have always created the problem.
Yep.
They've always had a hard time with the pulse of what's going on, and I do think it's much like so many things. When you have the older generations in charge of it, they are out of touch.
Very much.
A 50 and 60-year-old record exec is not on the pulse of what the 25-year-old wants to listen to.
Usually no.
And I mean, they've enjoyed their power for so long and their money for so long. These, and it's older women in the industry too that are out of touch. It's who you know in the music industry. A lot of them have gotten jobs with greasing each other's hand,
right?
And corporate labels are the problem.
Yeah,
always have been, always will be. They get in their own way.
Yep.
But it's it's the manipulation which drives me nuts.
Yeah, and they are good at doing that. That is for sure.
So next episode we'll talk about
one of those.
We're going to discuss iHeartMedia.
We both, spoiler alert, we both worked there.
Yeah, so I have a disclaimer for Andy at the start of the next episode, so he doesn't go to prison.
It's probably a good thing.
But yeah, join us for that episode. We'll have a lot to say. We have a lot of opinions on how we're being delivered music by that corporation and a couple others.
Yeah. So that is coming up in the next episode. Let's see. Any other closing thoughts?
Let us know if you enjoy the Music Matters podcast.
Yeah. There's ways to do that. You can easily just make a comment on the episode, either on Spotify or YouTube or MonkeyBoy Radio. I think there's a comment section on either one of those.
Yeah, let us know if you like it. If you ever have any ideas, something you want to know about, we can research for you.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah, we'll be happy to do it.
Yeah.
And if you want to just make fun of us, we're old and out of touch, and yeah, sure.
Yeah, and if you'd like to see us on camera,
eventually someday, maybe that'll happen.
You can send a comment to Andy to call his friend and get that done. But yeah, we'll eventually be on camera again. We're old and we don't care, but we're working towards it.
Yep, we are working very much towards it, so we'll try to get
So
to
this
that.
debuts around 8 p.m. Central on MonkeyBoyRadio.com every Sunday.
Every Sunday, yep.
Spotify, Apple
Spotify
Music.
shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Yep. Amazon Music.
Amazon Music.
Yeah, I'm sure it's other places
Music Matters
as well.
page on Facebook.
Facebook, yep.
Yeah.
So you can find us in a lot of different places.
Yep.
Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and do all that because it does help with the getting us out there and helping to expand our reach.
Yeah, we just found out last week that we now have 5 listeners.
5.
So that's good.
That's for you.
Good.
Clapping for you.
Clapping
our
for
listeners. We love you.
So
Thank
that's
you.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually our friend Ashley watching 5 times.
Yeah. Well,
So, we appreciate that.
we appreciate her.
This is a Music Matters podcast.
I'm Monkey Boy,
I'm Ziggy.
and we'll talk to you next time.